Good afternoon, fellow punchers and loyal supporters. Mickey D with you here. Just gone midday on Tuesday. The start of Punchestown Festival. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'll put her in the upload oven. It does take a while. And the many hours it took yesterday, I left the phone there. But anyway, I forgot the cross-country chase. Am I losing the plot, or wasn't the cross country? Wasn't there one of them always the first race every year? I thought, and that's the one being old fashioned and a tradition like myself. That's the one I handicap first. It was won by Indo Bulger 11 times in the past 25 years. He saddles the Northerner. It's a 6-year-old with no experience over the banks. And another 6-year-old is good by Sam from the Willie Mullins yard, and Patrick is riding. Now it has good form. It was second to Billaway in February in a Hunter's Chase, and it won a Hunter's Chase in Tramore in April. But it made a few mistakes, I thought, when I was looking at the video. There's only 3 6-year-olds has won this since 1990. 9 favourites since 1990, including last year. And I thought that Vital Island, it was fourth in this in 2018 to Josie's orders as a 6-year-old. It fell in 2019 and it was second last year. It was a 6-1 shot yesterday evening. I thought I picked it as I wrote in the description as a 1 point each way. I see it into 4-1 now. Anyone that sees this video later, if it's up before the race, it's probably a win bet now. I'd seen somebody mention that I hadn't done it, so I give it the respect that it deserves. We were very busy this morning, as you'd expect, before Punchestown. John O'Neill, the judge from Tralee, County Kerry, he landed very early, and he had a big cup with him, and it wasn't a cup you drink tea or coffee out of. And I said to him, "What's that cup for? What did you win it for?" He said, "That's Sam Maguire." He said, "We haven't won already." He went up to Tyrone and got it the other day, that there's no point in playing it, that Kerry is going to win the All-Ireland this year, and they have it handed out already. So I don't know what's the story there. Norman Whitehead was second in line. Then Claire Morton was, God, she was looking smart, I'll tell you, very, very well dressed. Sorka de Fache was all smiles and everything. She mentioned that. I mentioned it as well in that video yesterday evening. Delectable You. And it won at 9-4. So well done for that. And I hope maybe a few got on. Mark O'Leary. Patrick Hickey was absolutely locked, and he had a crate of Bulmers with him. Staggering around the place after Clare winning. Damien Kelly arrived from Belmullet, but he wouldn't talk to anyone. He's still in bad humour over Mayo losing. And he was looking for a door. He was on about the back door and the side door, and I don't know what door he was looking for, but he wasn't making any sense to me at all. John Davitt was home from Chicago going to Punchestown, and he was telling all the people about the great memories he had when he first went to Cheltenham, and he made a few valid points about tipsters being connected to bookmakers as well, that it sort of compromises them, and I agree totally with you on that. James Murray, welcome James, and Ayrton Mullaney asked me a couple of questions about the previous place or channel I was with. I told her I had a few reasons for leaving, and I might exchange them with you again. And Kevin Barker was the last one on, and everyone was happy, and we headed off to Punchestown. Where are we at all? We're on day 2, aren't we? Oh yeah, tomorrow first. In Ascot tomorrow. I mentioned it yesterday evening, and I looked at it last night. The Cigarro Stakes. I can't see Princess Zoe running on that surface. It's good to Ferrum. So I'd imagine that will be pulled out, and that will leave 6. Wordsworth for Aidan O'Brien. The air is absolutely flying at the moment. It was third in the Irish Derby last year. It's rated 110. But it made heavy work of beating Sunchurch in Gordon Park, 103 rated horse last time, but all Aidan O'Brien's horses improved for the run. That Tashcan as well, it hasn't been seen since finishing second to Trushan in Ascot Champions Day last year. And I went up £10 for that. It's a big hike for finishing second, I thought. It up from 106 to 116. But it's only won 3 wins out of 12. I think it needs more cut on the ground. But our little horse, our little Daisy from last Saturday week, Enemy, is running in it. And it drifted that day from 6 to 1 out to 11 to 1. It went up from 99 up to 108. And the way it ran that day, you would expect that it will improve again for the step up and trip. There's the 2 miles, that was 1.6. And it looked an out and out stayer the way it crept into the race, and it won very snug indeed. It hosed up. So I think that we could have a pint win on that tomorrow. I don't know the prices, but anyone that won a few pounds, we have to stay loyal. Had a few pints last Friday night with Ronan McPhillips in Strokestone. He was telling me that him and his son had a tenner each way at 11 to 1. He treated me to 2 pints, one for each of them. And I only had the 3, so I bought 1 and he bought 2. And he wanted to buy me more. But anyone that had a bet on him, I'm sure he'll be having a tenner on it tomorrow as well. The following race then is a nice little race. Go Bears Go is in it. That was second in the Norfolk last year, and in its second lifetime start. And Perfect Power won that, and that won again last week. They won a Group 2 in the Curragh. It was second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and it's rated 111. It even gets £4 from a 109 rated horse, so it's £6 well in. I think we can have a pint win on that. I've no prices for either of those. On to Punchestown we go. Giddy up, giddy up. 340. It's a handicap hurl, 2 miles 4 furlong. There's 28 declared, big field, so you get lots of extra places. And there's a collection there, or the sponsored by Adair Manor, which is a JP place. And it was won last year by a JP horse. Guiri won it. And it won it the previous year, or the 2 previous years as well. But only one favourite since 2004. That was Savota, Willie Mullins and Emmett Mullins rode a 7-2 favourite in 2010. The interesting horse for me is a real big outsider according to the probable betting. Thanks for your help, or Thanks for the Help. It's a 5-year-old out of Mertline, gelding by David Pipe. It's the first run in a handicap, and normally I don't, normally I don't run or tip horses first time in a handicap. I wait till the second time. But this yoke might have been laid out for this when it's sponsored owned by the sponsor. It's his 5th run, so it's very likely raced. But his last run was in Wincanton. It was second to a horse rated 129, and that went off 5 to 6 favourite. And he's only rated 109, so that's £20 of a difference. So even if he had £7 to £10 in hand, and he's carrying 11 stone, ton strap on for the first time, good conditional jockey up. So I think it's a pint each way. And last year's winner, Guiri, I actually backed it. It's £6 higher. And young O'Dwyer, Conor O'Dwyer's son is on it. He's a very capable jockey. And we could have a pint each way on that as well. I always like to have 2 in a big handicap race like that, for fear one might go amiss. On to the 4:15, the Red Mills Auction Hurl, 14 declared. This is a new race. Surprise Package won it last year, 14 to 1, and 010 won it, we said 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, because 3 years ago there was no race in 2020. That was 5 to 4 favourite. My selection is Choice of Words, a 7-year-old mare out of Yates. Ground will suit. It won a bumper in Punchestown last March. Then it was second to Grand G. It won a hurl race in Galway last October. I was there that day, and it won it easy that day. It was down the field in the Mayor's Hurl in Cheltenham, but better ground will suit. So I think and each way play there, point each way on choice of words on the 4:15. Willie has the favourite, Glengooly. It won his last two, but it could be short enough. The 4:45, the Louis Fitzgerald Hurl, 2 miles 4, 9 decks. 3 favourites in the last 10 years. And out of the last 6 runners, Jessica Harrington has won 3 and Willie has won 3. And Willie has 3 in it this year and Jessica has 1. Last 7 runnings, either a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old has won this. This year there are 3 6-year-olds running in the race and there's 2 5-year-olds. There's a few 7-year-olds fancied, but I'm going to stick with the trend and I'm going to go with Ganapathi. It's a 6-year-old. His first run this year was on the Coral Cup in Cheltenham, so they must have figured it as well handicapped and they didn't want to blow it by running him previous to that. And he had 2 runs, we'll say, this year in the campaign. The heavy ground, I thought, went against him that day in Cheltenham. It was on that wet day. And then he was third in Cork, again heavy ground. But I go back to last year in Punchestown in the champion novice hurl. It fell at the last when he was the right chance, I thought, and that was on yielding ground. And that was the only time he ran on yielding ground. He's rated 142. I think he's £3 lower than that one of Henderson's that he brought over. But this is a 6-year-old, third run of the campaign. I love the third run back and after a layoff. The favourite is 145, a 7-year-old. And he was second in entry to Langer Dan. But I'm on Ganapathi, win bet. The 5:20 is a grade 1 novice hurl, 3 miles. 4 favourites in the last 10 years. So there was one last year by Galopin de Champs, and Minella Indo won it in 2019. So classy horses always win this. The Nice Guy won the Albert Bartlett. Would he have won it if Ginto didn't fall? But anyway, he did. He's 4 for 4, so he's 2 bumper wins and 2 over hurls. Minella Crooner won at the Dublin Racing Festival. Minella Crooner was second. Journey with Me fell in the Ballymore. The favourite is a solid bet. The Nice Guy. 9 of the last runnings won by a 6-year-old. 2 5-year-olds, no 7-year-old. So the Nice Guy is a 7-year-old. So I'm on suggesting Minella Crooner each way. Strictly on a stat. The 5:55 is the big race of the day, the big race of the week. The Gold Cup, 3 miles, 9 declared, 4 favourites in the last 10 years. Clandesoma won it last year at 100 to 30. He was the 4th 9-year-old since 1988, and there were 4 of them all have won since the year 2000. Willie Mullins won 4 out of the last 10. Florida Pearl was a 10-year-old. Carlingford Lock was a 10-year-old and Imperial Call was a 10-year-old. Imperial Call went in 1999. Normally the younger horses win this, but they they can win it as well, the older horses. Allaho will probably be out in front. He's the Ryanair winner for the past 2 years. It seems like that's his optimum trip, 2 miles 5 or 2.5, whatever it is. He'll be out in front. Clandesoma as well, 3 miles seems to be his optimum trip after being a former King George winner. You have Galvin as well, who won the Savills Chase, and that was, he needs more further, I thought, than 3 miles. Faco Duderi as well is an interesting horse, only a 7-year-old. But I came down on Minella Indo, second in the Gold Cup, winner of the Gold Cup the previous year. And when it won the Gold Cup last year, it didn't run in Punchestown owing to a stone bruise. And then first time out in Down Royal, it came there sort of threatening and it wasn't fit. He doesn't like Leopardstown apparently, I think. So I'd give that, this could be a very fast run race. And I think he's the class of the field, second in the Gold Cup, winner last year. I'm going with him. I prefer it if it's a bit further, 2 furlongs further. I'd be really, really sweet on him. I'd be going a couple of pints stronger, but he's my choice for the race. That's Minella Indo. The bumper is on at 6:30. Facile Vega had a couple of facile victories. It's hard to stop him. Willie has won 10 out of the last 10 runners of this. I'm going to play Redemption Day without the favourite. I think heavy ground was against it on that wet day. That was the Wednesday in Cheltenham. And he won very well, I thought, in Leopardstown over the Christmas. So I'll be back in that without the favourite, and I'll be back in it each way without the favourite as well. So you play 3 places, because I think that's an 8 or 10 to 1 shot. So you might get, 5 to 2 without the favourite. But Facile Vega is the most likely winner. I think it's a 4 to 7 shot. The 7:05 is a handicap chase, 2 miles 5, 13 declared. Fancy Foundations is £1 out of the handicap. It's 2 for 6 over fences. It was well beaten by CL Denerge in a novice chase in Navan in December. It was getting £2. It was well beaten by Lifetime Ambition in a grade 3 in Limerick in March. He's a sort of a horse, I thought, that would, with a light weight on good ground, he's out Cave Tara, would do well. Jordan Gainford is riding it. He's a good jockey. He's getting £15 this time from that CL Denerge, and it was only £2 the previous time they ran. So I think he's worth a pint each way. And then bringing us on to the bumper, it's a mayor's bumper, grade 3. Grangy won it last year. Willie has won 3 out of the last 5. Dorans Weir was second to the nice guy in late December, and he was boxed, or she was boxed in, and she came with a late rally. She's a good one. She was after beating Burn the Evidence in her previous run, and the last run it beat Pink in the Park and Nikini, and that one of Elliott's, who was second to the Model Kingdom first time out in a listed bumper in Fairyhouse. It's a genuinely good mare for Tom Dordan, former, he used to have Dordan's Pride and Michael Howrigan. And I thought that it won well enough the last day. It beat those, and it might beat them again. I thought the danger would be Nikini, and I see that Patrick Mullins has switched allegiance from that. He's gone on to Pink in the Park, and Jodie Townsend has swapped over to the other side. I don't know why that happened. I thought Nikini was